lot of us have what I call slave mindset. We use our mouth to say God loves us, but we behave the opposite. And I've shared this story, I'll say it again. A lady told me that God told her. Now, I was not there when God was telling her. She said, international student came and she was trusting God for school fees. God said, I've settled it. I said, okay, so how did she said, he said this and this and this and this. And what she said was very prescriptive. I said, I think you heard from God. This was 3 months or so before the deadline for the school fees. Maybe it was like $17,000. So, she needs God to help her. One that doesn't have work, she needs God. So I said, if you've heard from God, he said he's solved. I said, okay. By the way, I don't know if you remember, I read the testimony, 30 days fast, about she was the one. So good news is that God came through. But look at what happened. 3 weeks to the deadline, she called me that, PD, it's 3 weeks old. I said, you heard from God. You are in rest. 1 week to the deadline, she called me. I said, oh God. She said, PD, okay. I think I should do a 3 days drive fast. God being so good, I was driving and I was passing Burger King. So I just asked her, I said, wait, what do you want to fast for? She said, for provision. I asked her, I said, are you a child of God? She said, yes. I said, okay. I will talk about the child of God, but let's address this first. Imagine you are coming out of Burger King. You saw a child malnourished, sitting on the floor, and you had 3 burgers in your hand. What will you do? She said, is the child hungry? I said, yes. She said, I'll give the child. I said, how many burgers will you give the child? She said, I can give the child all, because the child is malnourished. And I said, I called her name. I said, are you better than God? Did the child ask you for the burger? She said, no. Did the child beg you for the burger? She said, no. I said, why did you give the child? Compassion. God's name is compassion. He is full. Now, you are going there to go and fast for God to provide, and you call yourself a child of God. Do children fast for school fees? So we say something with our mouth, but we have slave mindsets. I'm trying to say you can leave Egypt with your leg and still be there. Let's agree if it's good or it's not good.